Hey everyone, I'm Cheryl Butler, and you're listening to the Mighty Mommy's Quick and Dirty Tips podcast, which will help make your life as a parent a little bit easier and a lot more fun. Welcome! Today's episode is number 451, 5 Ways to Deal with a Child Who Lies, because even the best of kids tell lies now and again. At some point, most, if not all, children will lie to their parents. Many times these lies are harmless, brushed aside as cute, little white lies that will make you chuckle, saying things like, "The hamster ate my homework." But some kids struggle with lying much more than others. It's not the hamster that's the problem. The problem is when you hear something like, "The teacher had an accident during chemistry class and had to leave by ambulance, so he didn't have time to assign homework for the past 2 weeks. Catch my drift? If you have caught your child lying multiple times and are never quite sure if he or she is telling the truth or continually lying to you, it's time to nip this deceitful behavior in the bud. Mighty Mommy shares 5 ways that you can help your Pinocchio choose honesty over lies before this very bad habit gets him or her into serious trouble. First, it's important to understand why kids lie. Even though many have great imaginations and can fabricate a story that J.K. Rowling would be proud of, there are developmental reasons and particular age groups that tend to lie the most. In Why Do Children Lie, Cheat, and Steal? It's noted that lying peaks between the ages of 6 and 10. A study at the University of Waterloo in Ontario that observed kids at home found that some 4-year-olds lied once every 2 hours. Some 6-year-olds lied at a clip of every 90 minutes. Lying typically peaks between the ages of 6 and 10. It decreases as kids grow older and start to understand the consequences of lying and the likelihood of getting busted. The child's developmental stage plays a large role in why kids begin to fib. Psych Central's article, When a Child Lies, breaks down these stages. From birth to age 3, kids are in a highly confusing world where they are dependent on adults for their very survival. Often what looks like lies are either honest mistakes or efforts to protect themselves or to mollify the grown-ups. Children from ages 3 to 7 are still figuring out the difference between fantasy and reality. They create imaginary worlds in their play. And then from ages 5 to 10, kids gradually develop an understanding of what it means to lie. If they've been raised in a home, in a neighborhood, and school where there are clear rules about the importance of telling the truth, they will do their best to comply. Over the age of 10, they know perfectly well when they are stretching the truth or outright lying. If you're dealing with a liar, here are 5 strategies to turn it around. 5 tips for dealing with a lying child. Number 1, model and stay cool. Number 2, change your questioning. Number 3, figure out what he's avoiding. 4, have appropriate consequences. And 5, acknowledge and appreciate honesty. Let's take a closer look at each. Tip number 1, model and stay cool. Though it's not always easy, we always have to remember that as parents, our kids are observing and watching our every move. Our job is to be consistently good models of honest living. If we want to raise honest kids, we can't model the opposite. Remember that young ears and eyes are always tuned in. Whether you're failing to correct the cashier at the burger joint who gives you too much change, or making up a story about why you can't volunteer at the school fundraiser. Remember, your actions set the example for acceptable behavior. Next, stay calm. Getting angry with your child because he lied or did something wrong will take the focus off the issue and instead put the focus on how you are reacting to what he did. Are you pretty sure your kid lied to you? Before dealing with it, go to your happy place. Count to 10 and stay calm. Once you're able to talk to him in a calm manner, now you can approach the situation. If your kids are worried about being punished or yelled at when they mess up, they won't feel safe telling you the truth. Tip number 2, change your questioning. Don't give your child the opportunity to lie by asking questions to which you already know the answer. For example, instead of asking, "Did you walk the dog when you got home from school?" Instead, try, "Do you plan on walking Buster right before you do your homework or right after dinner?" If your child has not walked the dog yet, he can save face by focusing on a plan of action rather than inventing a story. Tip number 3, figure out what he's avoiding. When your child is being dishonest, try to understand what might be the reason for lying. Instead of calling him out by the fib, try, "That sounds like a bit of a tale to me. You seem to be afraid to tell me the truth. You don't have to be scared to talk to me. Let's take some time right now to figure this out." You'll get the honesty you're looking for, as well as information that may help you foster the truth in the future. 3 great stories on lying for younger kids that you could read are The Emperor's New Clothes, The Boy Who Cried Wolf, and of course, Pinocchio. Tip number 4, have appropriate consequences. Children who are confronted with the fact that they're telling a lie need to understand that this is unacceptable and, if age appropriate, apologize. I have a really good friend who's a child psychologist, and she taught me about natural and logical consequences. Natural consequences. When a child is dishonest about completing a task, allow the naturally following events to run their course. For example, if the dishwasher wasn't loaded and then emptied when it was supposed to be, serve dinner on a paper towel, at least for the child who didn't do his chore, so he understands the consequences of not having clean dishes. Sometimes, in spite of your best efforts to set them up to tell the truth, they're still going to lie. In the case of the dishwasher scenario, the child's lie had the potential to complicate the entire family's dinner routine. After having this pointed out to him, she could put him in charge of setting the table for the rest of the week, so he'll see that clean dishes are necessary for a proper meal. This is actually a combination of natural and logical consequences. Speaking of logical consequences, as mentioned previously, having your child carry out a task that relates to the original offense, like setting the table for the family, can help to connect the dots. Dishonesty is also stressful. We want to trust our children as we enjoy them more, and it certainly makes life easier. When our children break our trust, we have the right to say, your behavior is upsetting to me, and it's causing me some stress. You need to make this up to me somehow. I tried this tactic a few times with my 8 kids, and I was so pleasantly surprised with the results. For example, my 11-year-old daughter recently lied about being the person to take a pile of wet clothes out of our dryer and leave them strewn all over the laundry room floor, so she could throw in a skirt she wanted to dry for school that morning. By the time I got home from work, the wet laundry had been stepped on by the dog and a few other family members, resulting in my having to rewash the entire load. My daughter finally owned up to what she had done, and for the next couple of weeks, she volunteered to empty the dryer and fold the laundry and bring it to everyone's bedrooms as a result of her dishonesty. And tip number 5, acknowledge and appreciate honesty. When your child owns up to doing something wrong, praise her for being honest. Say things like, "I am so glad that you told me the truth. I like it when you're honest." This sends the message that you won't get upset if your child owns up to something. Janet Lehman, MSW, sums it up in How to Deal with Lying in Children and Teens. She says, realize that most kids are not going to lie forever and ever. There is a very small percentage of kids who lie chronically. That's more difficult for parents to deal with, and it requires professional help. In all my years in working with adolescents, there were very, very few kids that I met with who lied chronically for no reason. Usually, kids don't lie arbitrarily. They have a reason for doing so, no matter how faulty that reason might be. Your child really does know right from wrong, but sometimes he overrides the truth. She goes on to say, I'm a parent too, and I understand that it's hard not to take that personally or to be disappointed. But just remember, your child is trying to solve a problem in an effective way. Our job as parents is to teach them how to face their problems head on and to coach them through their confusing years. Over time, I believe they will learn to do that without lying. How do you handle lying in your home? Share your thoughts in the comments section at quickanddirtytips.com/mighty-mommy or post your ideas on the Mighty Mommy Facebook page. And you can also email me at mommy@quickanddirtytips.com. And please visit my family-friendly boards at pinterest.com/mightymommyqdt. Wishing you a great week with your family. Thanks so much for listening, and until next time, happy parenting.